If you call a spade, you'll get labeled all types of names. Imagine Scott Agnes criticizing South Carolina and Asia Wilson fans for going after Caitlin Clark during her rookie season. Imagine the backlash.
Imagine being so rattled by excited fans that you pen a manifesto worthy of Darth Vader's press secretary. That's exactly what one Indiana Fever reporter just did, painting Caitlin Clark's supporters as if they were stormtroopers with foam fingers. Welcome to the latest installment of Journalists Gone Wild, where sports commentary turns into comic book chaos. This viral meltdown has fans asking, did the WNBA just enter its cinematic universe era? Buckle up, because this drama is officially hotter than Caitlin's three-point average.
In an article, he put something in there, and I don't know if he thought it was going to be a side note to his article, but you cannot call Caitlin Clark fans the dark side of the fandom. No, that wasn't the greatest or smartest idea in the world.
Picture this, Caitlin Clark. Yes, the same phenom who yanked women's college basketball out of the shadows and into primetime, just became the target of a hit piece. But not your average critique. No, this was a full-scale digital meltdown, written by a so-called sports journalist with the emotional range of a flat basketball. And the target? Not Caitlin herself, that'd be too direct. Instead, they went after her fans. You know, the unhinged lunatics guilty of checks notes, cheering too loudly. How dare they?
Is really disappointing from a journalist so closely linked to the Indiana Fever organization. And this is really, really disappointing, and it's really concerning in my opinion, because it is painting a 23-year-old on their team who is currently injured.
Apparently, this reporter, let's just dub him the torchbearer of terrible takes, has declared that cheering for Caitlin Clark is now an act of villainy. That's right, welcome to the dark side, where wearing a number 22 Fever jersey and applauding a deep three is apparently Sith behavior. Move over, Darth Vader. There's a new menace in town, and she shoots from the logo. At this point, all that's missing is John Williams blasting the Imperial March every time someone clicks add to cart on Caitlin's merch.
Imagine Scott Agnes writing an article about the Reese's Pieces and all their negative vitriol, shout out to L. Duncan, that's been targeted to Caitlin Clark. Imagine the backlash he would receive. But what's the safe way out? What's the safest way to big up the Indiana Fever? Well, you tear down Caitlin Clark's.
Meanwhile, Indiana Fever management is out here putting on a masterclass in doing absolutely nothing. They are bumbling around like they are trapped in a Scooby-Doo episode, cluelessly searching for answers to a mystery that's already solved. Why are Caitlin Clark fans mad? Simple. You've got the most electrifying rookie the WNBA has ever seen, playing in a league where the officiating makes the WWE look like the Harvard debate team. And somehow, management still can't read the room.
This is very sad, very disappointing. It's disgusting that Caitlin Clark has to be subjected to this nonsense. And enough's enough. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. She needs to come out and draw the line in the sand. And it would not shock me if at some point, man, Caitlin Clark is just done with.
Let's start with the league, shall we? The WNBA, in all its infinite wisdom, took Caitlin Clark, the same woman who casually dropped 40-point triple-doubles like she was handing out Skittles on a college campus, and tossed her into a system where the refs seemed to have graduated from Petty Whistles 101. Every game feels less like professional basketball and more like a Shakespearean tragedy, if it were directed by someone whose only source material is Twitter beefs and Reddit threads.
They also announced the skills competition for the WNBA All-Star team. And she didn't make that either. So you argued she wasn't good for the Olympics. Your argument, though I don't buy it, but it was your argument, women's basketball, that she would be a distraction. So isn't the perfect place to put her in the skills competition?
The NCAA treated Caitlin Clark like a once-in-a-generation phenom. The WNBA? Like she just transferred into Mean Girls High. If the NCAA was the supportive guidance counselor cheering her on from the sidelines, the WNBA is Regina George asking, why are you so obsessed with being talented? We went from primetime game of the week spotlights to game of the weekend, if nothing else is on. Because apparently, showcasing your most marketable star is just bad business now. But let's pivot to the reporter, a man so allergic to accountability, he probably needs an EpiPen just to hear the word objectivity. He's not reporting anymore. He's enlightening us. According to him, Supporting Caitlin Clark isn't just fandom, it's toxicity. Not because fans are being abusive or disruptive, but because they exist. Truly groundbreaking journalism, the kind that makes you wonder if his diploma came from a cereal box. And let's not forget, when he was called out for conveniently ignoring the blatant fouls Clark's taken all season, the man pivoted faster than a yoga instructor during a blackout. But hey, who needs facts when you're typing from a bunker built entirely out of bitterness?
Of 7 of 9, the Fever are playing connect.
This man has endured so much hate, he says. Really? Because last time we checked, Caitlin Clark has been verbally assaulted on and off the court, elbowed in the face, fouled with all the subtlety of a flying anvil, and still manages to respond with nothing more than a polite press conference and a professional smile. Meanwhile, this reporter spirals into a full-blown digital meltdown anytime someone in the comments suggests he try interacting with reality. What's truly wild? This man has never, and we do mean never, called out a single one of the cheap shots aimed at Clark. Not when she was shoved. Not when she got fouled like someone was trying to exorcise a demon. Not when she was body-checked mid-layup like it was open ice. Nothing. Radio silence. But the moment a fan dares to show support, suddenly, he's got enough energy to write a 1,200-word op-ed about how they're the real threat to the game. Now let's talk about that fan base he's so pressed about. The way he describes Clark's supporters, you'd think they were plotting world domination with foam fingers and highlight reels. It's orbit-level spin. His twisting himself into such rhetorical pretzels, it's a miracle Auntie Anne's hasn't sent a cease and desist. Anytime someone tries to talk actual basketball, he dodges it like a sitcom dad avoiding emotions. Forget the no calls. Forget the hits. Forget the blatant fouls. What really matters, according to him, is that you noticed. And that, apparently, makes you the problem.
Nasty. If y'all don't know who Scott Agnes is, he's a guy that's he's very close to the team. He gets a lot of access. He's in the practices. He's interviewing the players at practice. He's interviewing the players pre-game, post-game. He is very close with the team and has a lot of access to the players and the team.
What's even more pathetic is how all of this has spiraled into a full-blown cottage industry of envy. The WNBA spent decades begging for mainstream attention, pleading for viewers, sponsors, packed arenas, and relevance. Now they finally have a player who delivers all of that in spades. Ticket sales through the roof, jersey orders crashing websites, and record-breaking TV ratings. And somehow, Caitlin Clark's biggest crime, being too successful. It's giving office slacker energy. The co-worker who clocks in late, contributes nothing, and then fumes when someone else gets the promotion. Only here, the office drama's been replaced with flying elbows, technical fouls, and one very bitter man rage blogging from his WordPress account. And while we're at it, let's talk about this favorite deflection line. She's not the only rookie. Oh wow, groundbreaking analysis. Yes, we know. There are other rookies, and many of them are excellent. But when buying a Caitlin Clark jersey gets you labeled a cult leader on Twitter, you start to realize this was never about balance. It was always about resentment. And here's the ultimate irony. The very reporters and pundits wagging their fingers at Clark's fans. They owe their current relevance entirely to her. If she weren't in the league, half of them would be reviewing late-night Waffle House menus or live-tweeting local pickleball tournaments. But sure, tell us again how her supporters are the problem.
Ignorance is loud here, folks. They're only there for Clark. Boy, you stepped in it. But that dark side can easily seep into the team. The Caitlin Clark fans, the dark side. Because they're very passionate about a player, and yes, they've put their money where their mouth is. So these people, these fans, feel invested.
This man has quite literally built an entire platform out of not supporting Caitlin Clark. He's the self-appointed president of the Antifans fan club, shouting into the void about how overrated she is, then gaslighting anyone who dares point out the obvious. She's not just good, she's revolutionary. Let's be honest. If Caitlin played in a league where professionalism was the standard and favoritism wasn't the entire marketing plan, she'd already be in MVP conversations. Instead, she's out here surviving defensive ambushes like she's auditioning for Gladiator, while refs sip herbal tea and treat actual fouls like plot twists. And here's the kicker. Every time she responds with humility, grace, or restraint, the very qualities we're supposed to admire, those two get twisted into weapons. Why doesn't she clap back? Why is she so quiet? Maybe because she knows the microscope is already zoomed in and blinking red. She doesn't need to give the trolls more material, especially the ones who haven't watched a full game without bias since flip phones were trendy. Just so we're clear, a woman is bringing millions in value to a league that couldn't sell out a concession stand 5 years ago. Fans are tuning in. Engagement is through the roof. And the response from certain media corners? Your applause is too loud. Please stop liking her. This wouldn't just be funny if it weren't so completely, embarrassingly pathetic.